What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel in another video. Now, we left off on the last one doing the oil pan gasket and front main seal because my belt shredded, and this is the main reason we didn't put it back together at the end of that video, and that's because I got relocated inlets for the 335. So I'm really excited about this. They're the VRSF stainless steel relocated inlets, and we're gonna put them on while the subframe's out because it'll be easier. So let's just dive in. I'm gonna go over what's in the box first, and then we're gonna start taking stuff out. It's a pretty involved process, so I'm gonna try and show as many steps as I can in this video, but it might not be 100% accurate, but it'll hopefully give you guys an idea. Alright, so here's what we got in the box. This is from Summit Racing. I actually got some heat shielding to put on them just to help a little bit. So you've got a bunch of piping, couplers, vacuum tubing, wiring to relocate your coolant level sensor, all this hosing, bunch of clamp, filters, also got a t-shirt. And I mean, there's not a ton to it. There's not a lot of parts, but it's pretty involved to get the factory ones out. So might be kind of a pain in the butt. But first thing we're gonna start on is removing the factory inlets. So there's one that runs in front of the motor and there's one that runs behind. I'll put a link below to a DIY posted by VRSF. So hopefully that'll help you guys figure it out, but we're gonna go ahead and remove the front inlet first. It's Torx bits. There's 3 Torx bits that hold the front inlet on, and then it's just attached to the turbo. So we're gonna get that off, and then we'll start pulling the rear inlet, and then move on to relocating this and putting everything back together. So let's get started and pull this front inlet out. Alright guys, we got the front inlet out. So it's just those Torx screws. There's 2 of them. And then it basically just slides off the turbo. So we got all that exposed down there. And then we removed the vacuum canister. There's 3 10mm bolts. And then you just pull those out and disconnect the vacuum lines. And then the coolant, you just have to drain the reservoir. And then there's 2 10mm up there. And then that comes out. So you need to move both those. And then, so we got the front inlet out. Now we're gonna work on the back inlet. So it's basically the same process, but you have a PCV connector you need to remove, and then we'll get the rear inlet off. Alright guys, as you can see, we made some progress here. So we got the rear inlet out, we got this PCV connector disconnected, and then we got these inlets in. We got the new VRSF aluminum inlets in. We wrapped them in some gold tape just to kind of keep the heat down. I know it's not gonna do a ton, but it's better than nothing, and it looks better than the stainless steel. So the rear inlet was a big pain, and it normally is. That's what everybody says about these. I found it was easier to put the coupler on the rear inlet and then put the pipe down through the top and connect them that way. So we got the rear inlet all in, that's routed up, and then we got the front inlet in. That one was pretty simple to put in. And they're both gold wrapped, and everything's ready to go, everything's tight. Make sure you get that rear inlet boot on real tight and crank it down because you don't want to have to access that one again. And then as you can see, we got the engine support gone. That's because we reinstalled the subframe. So we got all that back in, sway bar back in. Everything's good, transfer case is in, front axles are in. Both sides are pretty much assembled, just have to torque everything. These center nuts, in case you're wondering, are 221 foot-pounds is the number that I was finding for those. And everything's pretty much back together down here. So now comes the fun part of relocating everything to the opposite side for the inlets. We're basically gonna put the power steering reservoir here. There's a bracket for it. And then the coolant bottle will actually mount on this side. It's actually made to mount on this side. There's a hole for the grommet and stuff. So it just sits like that factory. And then I'm really hoping that my charge pipe will still fit. I have the active auto work charge pipe and blow off. So hopefully that'll still fit with the relocated coolant reservoir, but I guess we'll find out. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start relocating stuff on here, and then I'll show you guys how to run like coolant hoses, and then we're gonna have to rewire this coolant temp sensor. We're gonna have to rewire this coolant temp sensor so that we can run it across to the actual coolant bottle, so it sits over here, and then we should be good to go, and hopefully nothing will be wrong. So let's get started on the power steering and then we'll do the coolant. Alright guys, we got a lot done. I didn't time lapse the whole thing because it would have been kind of boring to watch the whole process because we had to figure out where everything fit and whatnot, but we finally got it down. So this twisted bracket that comes in the kit, we use it for the power steering. So it sits right here behind the alternator. And then the tricky part was because I have an active auto work charge pipe and blow off valve, it's really big and it sits up really high, which makes it a pain. So basically what we had to do was flip the blow-off valve around because normally this cone sits out forward. And then we had to use this small bracket to mount the coolant tank, and then we just kind of had to push down and make it fit right here. And then all we did was shorten this hose to the top of the expansion tank that goes right here. And then the other coolant piece is this hose. This comes off of the top of the water pump, I believe, and then runs into the bottom of the overflow tank normally. So what we did was cut the connector off, use the supplied brass fitting to add the hose they supplied. This is the smaller hose of the two. Let's see if we can get some light in there. Use the supplied hose. And then ran it across and ran it into the bottom of the expansion tank. And then the final thing we had to do was the wiring. So it's just this coolant temp sensor, I believe, or it's the coolant level sensor, I think. And that just sits here, and then there's two wires, and we cut them and spliced them and soldered them, and then heat shrink the whole thing. And basically just ran it across and then the top of the radiator over to the plug on the bottom of the expansion tank. So overall, it's not a ton of work to do all that. It just took most of the time to figure out where everything fit because this blow-off valve really made everything a pain just because it's not, most people run like a tile that sits short down here. So it was a little harder to get this to fit. If you do have an active auto work blow-off valve, you will need to turn it around. So that's not ideal, but it'll work. There's also another option. VRSF sells a charge pipe for the 335D coolant tank, which sits better in a factory location right here. You could do that. I really like this blow-off valve, so I wanted to keep it at all costs. So this is basically what had to happen. So we've got pretty much everything installed from the kit. We have the inlets in, coolant tank relocated, power steering relocated, and the wiring done, and this small hose done, and that's basically everything. We are gonna have to figure out what to do with the vacuum canister. You normally have two vacuum canisters that sit right here, but we had to get rid of them to put the filters, so we're gonna have to find some way to mount them. I'm probably only gonna run one, just because they help when you're at higher altitudes. If we're at sea level, I'd probably just delete them. But since we're at higher altitudes, I do want to try and keep one. So we'll probably just tee these hoses off and run it into one vacuum canister. So overall, the install really wasn't too difficult. The hardest part was honestly just putting the actual inlets on the turbos. That was probably the hardest part. And you definitely want to make sure that the coupler on this back turbo really gets secured because you don't want to pop that off and have to deal with that. So there's basically, I just wanted these because we were in there, the subframe was out, it was easier access, and I really want to squeeze these stock turbos for all the power I can, and these will definitely help, along with a fuel pump that I will be ordering, and we should see pretty good numbers out of the stock turbos. And then when I want to go upgraded, we just put the new turbos in and pretty much have everything already done. So anyways, the next step is basically just to start it. The oil cooler will have been done in the video coming out before this, but that'll all be done, and then next step's basically just start it, make sure there's no leak when the coolant system gets pressurized, and we'll see if it sounds any different. I'd assume it would because the intakes are a lot shorter and right next to the turbos, but I guess we'll find out. So let's just fire this thing up. Alright you guys, well as you can see we're pretty much wrapped up with the relocated inlets project. Everything's back together, all the hoses are in. This is the final look at everything relocated. The noise is pretty different from the relocated. There's a little bit more turbo noise, and then flipping the BOV around made it a lot louder, so it wasn't that bad of an install. I'd say the hardest part is getting the actual inlet on the turbo, and the rear one is in a special pain, but it's not too terrible to do. So I would suggest them if you want to really squeeze your stock turbos, or if you're going bigger like pure stage 2s or something like that. I would definitely advise getting relocated inlets to let those turbos breathe a little better. But overall, not a bad project. The VRSF kit was pretty good quality. I wish the instructions were a little better. The PDF I downloaded from their website was pretty good, but I wish they had a little bit clearer instructions, and it seemed like the kit they used in the instructions was an older kit because there was stuff in mine that I hadn't seen before. But hopefully that helped you guys install them or buy them, whatever. I think it was a worthwhile purchase to do while we were in there. So while we had everything apart, it wasn't too bad. And we wound up putting the vacuum canisters right here. They actually fit pretty well. They're not really mounted to anything. They're just mounted to a zip tie. But it worked out pretty well. They're all plumbed up, so that's working good. All the filters are together. This PCV hose, that's together, running there. I'd like to get a catch can, which is probably what I'll do next, just to kind of get rid of this big hose. You can tuck it back up here, but I don't know. I figured I'd just run it out, and then blow off's all done. Everything's hooked up, drives good. I still have yet to get a full revision for my tune. I do need a map sensor still, so I need the higher bar map sensor to run more boost. And then we'll finally be able to get everything out of those stock turbos and probably blow them up. But that's why they make upgrades, so I guess we'll see how that goes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully you found it helpful. I'd say they're worth it for sure. Especially if you have the subframe out, you're already doing maintenance down there. Definitely do them anyways. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. Keep your eye out for the oil cooler video that's actually coming out after this, even though I said it was gonna come out before. But watch for that one. That was a really good mod to do. So keep your eye out for that video, and I will see you guys on the next one.